What up, fam? I am Dr. De Luna, and you are listening to Drop It Like It's Doc podcast. Today is a very, 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 very special day because I am sharing my birth story. Fam, we're on the other side. I'm interviewing my doula, Angelica Barrera. I am so excited for you to learn about the best day of my life. Thanks for being here. Hi, Angelica.
Hi, love.
I am so excited for this conversation. It is ridiculous. Truly. Thank you for joining us in the jungle and for being here, for being down to have this convo.
Oh my gosh. Of course. I've been so excited.
And we're going to talk predominantly about my birth.
Fantastic.
But I also want to talk about your role and you being a doula, what that means, all of it. But before we even get there, I always start with love bombing my guests, which with you, it's going to be very, very, very easy. So I'll just kind of like summarize my love story, our love story for the listeners. I met Angelica at this point. How many years ago was it? Like over 10.
Yeah, probably.
Over 10 that we were teaching at that studio. We were teaching at a yoga studio called the House of Yogi. Mm-hmm. And I took your class and I loved you from the second I saw you. I loved you from the second you opened your mouth. I don't know what it was. It was just your energy. It was your vibe. It was the way you held space. It was like, in the most loving way possible, like your weirdness. Like you were just so unique. And I had never taken a yoga class like yours before. No, truly though. I'm like, the weirder, the better.
I love that.
And I just loved you. And I would take your class religiously. And then when my best friend opened up Reunify, she's like, who do we need in this community? I'm like, Angelica Barrera. And she hired you. You were in that community. And then, like I said, I loved you from the first time I met you, but it just kept going deeper and deeper. And I'll never forget the first time that I heard you sing. I'm like, is there a live musician in this room? And there was. It was you just singing in Savasana, bathing me. My soul was singing. And then you randomly name dropped in a class. In a previous life, I was a doula, or I would do this work as a doula. And I was like, doula? Mind you, at this point, I was going through a divorce, like fully single. And I walked up to you after class and I told you, you will be my doula. I didn't even ask you. Yeah. I just said, you will be my doula.
Yeah.
When that time comes. Now, fast forward however many years ago, forward that was, I'm in class. It happens to be the day after I found out I was pregnant. It was a Saturday morning. And I just look at you and you looked at me. No words were spoken. We just cried and you hugged me and said, it's time.
I remember so clearly when you walked in the door, I just looked at you, I was like, oh my God, it's here.
With child.
It has arrived.
It has arrived. And I just couldn't imagine having anyone else to play that role of a doula for me. And just independent of that, you as a human are amazing. Your soul is so pure. You are amazing at communicating. You care and love so deeply for your friends and your family and your community. And you are just one of the most loving, free spirits that I've ever met. And I am so fucking grateful to love you and to be loved by you. Meow.
Wow. Meow. I love that's the punctuation. Period, mark, exclamation point. Meow.
Meow.
Sister. Yeah. There's been no one who's called me in the way that you have of being like, you're my doula, not pregnant yet, don't know who daddy is, but it's you. Yeah. And I was like, it's me and you. It happened. It just was. It wasn't even it's just one of those things that just was always meant to be. Yeah. And that was such a sweet way to receive it. Because I've had different entry points, right, into the other mothers I've supported. But with you, it was just like, someday, sometime, it will be. And it was. And holy moly. Yes. Just like you said, it just keeps getting deeper and deeper. And I'm so fucking grateful for you and every step along the way.
Yay.
What an honor.
I mean, you even asked me randomly, how did I decide on this backdrop for this room or whatever? And I'm like, I don't know. When I know, I just know. And that's what I knew with you. It didn't make any sense. I didn't even have a conscious reasoning around it. I didn't even know you. I'm just like, will you support me in the most life-changing, vulnerable day of my life? Perfect.
Yes, I will.
Check. And you did. And you showed up. So for the listeners that have no idea what a doula is, like my mother who just randomly goes doula because she likes to say it like that.
Because she's hilarious.
Because she's hilarious. Because she's fucking hilarious, Grandma. How would you describe what a doula is?
I would describe a doula as unconditional support. And specifically unconditional support in the mental, emotional, physical, spiritual realms. It's very much less of a medical role. It's really non-medical. It's much more about just giving you undivided attention and being able to show up for you and your partner and your baby with just undivided, unwavering presence and care, and really just holding the space to maneuver and support and uplift you as you guide and bring in your baby girl, and to just hold the space. Because if it's just the partner, who's supporting the partner too? And if it's just the partner, who's the partner looking at being like, is this normal? Are we okay? And there's just so much to hold in that space. So to have someone to just be like, I got you no matter what, that is, what an honor for the doula, and what a vital role, I think, in the creating of the family and of the village and of community in general, is to have each other's back and to really give like a holy, holistic approach to holding the woman. It's so much more than a physiological experience, as you experienced. It's so common to just look at birth as like, I'm going to go into labor and then I'm going to dilate and then I might be, and it's just like, there's a lot of other things that happens during that. And so to have that presence is just such a calling and such an obvious like space for me. The first time I ever heard of what a doula was in college at one of my public health classes. And I walked out of class just like bawling, called my mom and was like, I just discovered something that I'm supposed to do on this. It was just this resonance in the same way of like you're knowing, when things just land. I'm like, holy shit, this is like, wow. I didn't even know what it was at that time, and that was 20 years ago, maybe not 20 years ago. I wasn't 16 in college, but
maybe
whatever, many years ago. Yeah.
20.
Yes. Yeah. So it's just been so amazing. And oh my gosh, to see you in your home manifesting the birth of your dreams. Are you fucking kidding? The fact that you walked into that house and you were like, that's the tub I'm going to give birth in. You weren't even pregnant then. I don't know.
No, we're going to share all that. So thank you for this. Okay. No, please, girl, don't hold back.
There's so many things.
Let it flow. There's so many things and we will chat about them all. And it's funny because I kind of wish Nick was here. My baby daddy, my partner, he didn't want to be here today, which sorry, Nick, I hope that you watch this episode and you see my face as I stare into the camera and say he did not want to be here today. I don't know why. He's at home with the baby though. So joke's on him. Just kidding. The baby's literally perfect, but the baby needs mommy. So anyway, Nick is not here. But the whole reason why I said that, it's because I remember when we were like going through finances and talking about what it would look like to have an out of hospital birth and, a midwife, which we'll talk about what that is and how it's a different role too. All out of pocket. So pretty fucking expensive. And then like adding additional costs. And I remember I said to Nick, like, I want a doula. This is blah, blah, blah. And he's like, we don't need a doula. He literally said that to me. He's like, we don't need a doula. I'll be your doula.
The only father who has said that. Yeah.
He's like, I can do that.
Right. Most men are like, I'm right here.
Yeah. I've got it all. The penis. What else do we need? Right. But then I wish he was sitting here so he could express how wrong he was and also just how grateful he was. He's told you, but you changed that day for us. And I've never given birth, so I don't know what it would have been like without you there. But just even from an energetic, emotional space, just knowing that you were there, if we needed anything, you could be that person. Because Nick, I would not allow him to leave my side.
Of course.
And everyone is different in birth. Some people don't want their partners around. I had no idea what I would want. But after being through that experience, I wanted him. I wanted to hold his hands. I want to squeeze him. I just want to like feel him in it with me because I was so alone in all of it. So just knowing that you were there, okay, Ashley needs to drink water because she hasn't drank it in forever. She needs to eat. I'm going to force this fucking berry into her mouth. Like, does Kira need to go outside?
Yeah.
The lights are going down. Like, maybe we should turn a light on in the house. I don't know. So all the different pieces of that puzzle, you held the space. You kept it just cohesive and safe. Yes. And I love that you highlighted that it's not medical, because it wasn't medical. And also birth is not medical. Like birth is quite unbelievable. And for me, and I had an episode for anyone that's listening to this, that's like, I don't know the differences in how you can birth. I have a whole episode that you can listen back to, but I decided to do a home birth. I've always known that I wanted to do a home birth. I've always known that I wanted to have a midwife. I didn't want to do it alone. And holy fucking shit, I can't imagine doing it alone. I can't imagine. I mean, I know a lot of mamas that have free birthed, and I, even before going through the birth process, I was like, damn, babes, I bow to you. But now I'm like, holy fucking shit, you wild bitches.
Yeah.
Do that alone? But I needed a midwife to tell me that everything was okay and everything was, moving in the way it should, and that there wasn't any room for concern, because if my mind went there, just as someone that knows anything medically, I think my body would have just fully shut down and wouldn't allow that process to happen. Right. So knowing that my midwife was there to make sure that me and baby were safe. You were there to make sure that me and baby and Nick were comfortable and supported. And then it just helped the whole process move forward.
Such an incredible team. That was the biggest birth team I've been a part of.
Yeah.
We had both midwives, and then me and Nick, who was amazing.
He was.
I'll say that. I know you're at home, Nick, but you were amazing. You're amazing. And Kayleen, your bestie.
My bestie.
The 5 of us just sitting around you and just like, you and obviously baby girl.
I know, it's really weird to like touch my tummy now. There's
right.
Nothing,
I bet.
There's
You're like
nothing here anymore. It's so weird. And I'm actually wearing the same outfit that I wore on the day that I found out I was pregnant in this exact building. It just felt appropriate.
Gosh.
Wow. Yeah. I guess I'll chat a little bit about the house and the tub.
Yeah.
And then we'll just walk through the day, because you highlighted that. And everyone on this podcast knows every dirty detail of my life. So they know that I randomly found out that the other house that I was living in had mold, which was terrible. So I'm on Craigslist. Who the fuck looks on Craigslist anymore? Me. I get lucky on Craigslist all the motherfucking time.
That's
like
amazing.
No one looks on Craigslist to mine a house. Maybe that's what's wrong. So I look on Craigslist, scrolling on through, and I see this ad for a house. It says Costa Rican jungle dogs welcome in bold with stars.
You're like,
Hello?
are these signs? Yeah. Is it destiny?
So I'm just scrolling on through, and I jaw drop at this picture of a goddess tub. Like literally 3 people could lay long.
It is
in there.
Most beautiful indoor tub I think I've ever seen. It's perfect.
It's
with the tiles.
It's my everything. In that second, it was just I already was really drawn to the house and thought it was really cool and loved the property and the vibe just in the post and whatnot. But then once I saw that tub, I said to myself, I said to Nick, I said to anyone that I would send a link to, I'm like, look at this tub. I'm going to birth one day in that tub. Little did I know that I was pregnant.
Oh my God.
At that time when I was even looking at the house, because I thought I had severe mold illness from that house because I was exhausted and my boobs hurt and I've horribly emotional and X, Y, and Z, a million other symptoms. And I was like, oh, this is definitely the worst PMS I've ever had and mold illness combined. I have to get out of here. And I remember I felt this literally like shooting pain in my boobs. And I called Nick and I was like, I've never felt this before. I'm so sick. This house is killing me. Like, we have to move now. This is so scary. And mind you, had also just moved here from New York. So he had just moved here. I'm like, we have to move, all these things. And now looking back, my boobs hurt tremendously because I was pregnant. And the tub was in fact calling me. So we move into the house. That's where I was pregnant the whole time. And then just fast on forward to the birth, I suppose.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So where does one begin? I guess I'll begin with where I begin the story for everyone that asks me. And it's with Christmas. So I'm Jewish, by the way. I don't care about Christmas, but my partner does care about Christmas. And I wanted to have a nice Christmas day with him. And he was sick. He was very sick. And I'm like, your girl's not getting sick. I'm going into labor soon. I had friends meetings the week before that I canceled because I didn't want to get sick, or, you know, we took special precautions because I didn't want to get sick.
Right.
Now my partner is so ill.
On the couch.
Ill.
Unable to move.
Yeah. He had like 104 fever.
Yeah, it was bad.
He was so sick, and he's like, stay away from me. And I'm like, I must take care of you. I love you. I won't get sick. The universe won't do this to me. It did. Yes, it did. Your girl got shut down. You got shut down good. I had terrible fever. Couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. 2 to 3 days. Perfect for when you're preparing for labor. Perfect.
What else do you do right before labor?
What else do you do? Stop yourself, not sleep, cough so hard that you feel like you're going to explode the baby out.
Seems like the perfect preparatory steps.
It was, but it was, my dear. I envisioned doing all these things before I went to labor. No, what I did was watch the entire series, not season, series of Sex and the City from start to end.
That's impressive.
On Netflix. I know.
That's impressive.
I would go in and out of consciousness, but like I've seen every episode about a million times. So it was like really grounding for me. So that's the state I was in. I was honestly really depressed because I knew on some level that I was about to do the hardest thing I've ever done. And I wanted to feel good. And I didn't want to go into it really depleted and risking a transfer.
Right.
Which, you know, grateful transfers exist, but I also just didn't want to go into it being like, there's no way that you can do what's in front of you. So I go get acupuncture. She moves some mucus in me. I'm devastated at this point because I lose my mucus plug. And the mucus plug is this, for those of you that don't know, it's like this gooey booger-like stopping piece that's in the opening of the cervix so that all of it's good stay in. So I'm going to the bathroom before acupuncture. I wipe and I'm like, what is this blood-tinged fluid? Because I haven't bled in a really long time. So I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. No, everything starts imploding. I think I even texted you.
You did.
I did
You
text
did
you.
text me. Yeah.
What did I say? Do you recall?
Oh, you were
I was not well.
in a dark place.
Yeah.
you were in a dark place.
Yeah.
And we were all just basically trying to do that, being like, whether you're about to go into labor or not. And we pretty much no one told you directly, like, you're about to go into labor.
New Year's Eve.
We were all like,
everyone's like, it's not going to happen. But they knew it was going to happen. You just tried to soothe me. It happened.
yeah, we were just trying to like, keep the stress level down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically.
Thank you.
You know, obviously we didn't know for sure, but we just, like, we had some, you know, clues and some feelings, and we just didn't want to freak you out anymore because you were already kind of being like, and we were like,
Yes.
it's going to be fine.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And, you know, fun fact for listeners, like, you can lose your mucus plug and it could reform, and it could be days, it could be weeks until you go into labor. So it's like, maybe it's just less stress on my body. I'm coughing really hard, whatever. But now I'm starting to get some little like period crampies.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, fuck, I haven't felt this in 10 months. So I'm at my acupuncturist. She's talking to the baby, trying to keep the baby in while she's draining all my mucus. And whether she wants to admit it or not, I could tell that she could tell that the baby was like, fuck you, I'm coming soon.
Yeah. Oh, that's exactly the message she got, because she told me.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, she's like, we're coming.
I talked to her later and she was like, oh, I knew.
Yeah, the baby was coming.
Yeah, baby's coming. Yeah.
So we're cramping a little. I'm devastated and also really scared. Quite scared.
Yeah.
But it's inevitable. There's nothing, you can't stop it.
Right.
There's nothing you could do. The way I described it is you're getting on a train. Like, if you're on the train, you're on the fucking train. So I was like trying to pretend that I wasn't going to step onto the train, but I could feel myself approaching the on-ramp. And I text my midwife in the car after the visit, and I'm like, Nicole, that's her name, Nicole. I am so upset. I lost my mucus plug. I think I'm going into labor. I am so sick, because I had a visit with her that I had to cancel because I was so sick. And I'm like, I'm still deathly ill. What does one do? She said, take a bunch of magnesium, go to sleep. That's what your girl did. Took so much magnesium that I had explosive diarrhea, went to sleep.
Yes.
Yep. Yes, I did.
Yeah, you did.
Magnesium works though.
It does.
Works really well. Went right to bed. Woke up every hour that night with like more intense cramps. And I was like,
undeniable.
This is probably labor. Woke up, Nick, texted you.
Yeah.
4:30 in the morning.
4:30 text. It's time.
Is that what I said?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was a brief sentence.
It was brief.
Really not much content. Just being like, whenever you're available to come on over.
Whenever whenever it's good for you. Just like whenever it's good for you, if you want to come by, I should be available to give birth.
Yeah, I'll be around.
I'll be around on my couch.
You should know where to find me.
Yeah. And you did. You came over. As the sun came up, you brought lots of snackies and goodies and things like that. And the second before you came over, and for people that have never gone into labor, I've only done this once. It starts off feeling like little period cramps. And you're like, yeah, I got this. I've had bad periods before, like bring it.
Yeah.
They get so intense. So they were increasing in intensity, getting closer and closer together. By the time that you got there, they were probably every like 15 minutes.
We were timing them and they were anywhere from, I think it was like 3 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
5 to 10 minutes.
I feel like once you arrived, my body was like, okay,
Yeah.
it's time. Because before then it was like wishy-washy. It was a little bit irregular. And then I was on my bed because I could still like move at this point and it felt good. And I was on my bed like in a puppy pose, just like stretching my hips out. And then all of a sudden it felt like a balloon popped within me and water just gushed everywhere. And I'm like, oh my God, my water just broke. And you walked in the door seconds after. So now I'm pantsless.
Got the towel wrapped around you.
Yeah. Just liquids flowing.
Yep.
What a juicy time.
Chuck's pads on the couch.
Oh yeah. I'm like, I'm gonna stain this brand new couch with
Brand new couch.
Yeah.
Brand new couch.
Brand new couch. It's doing good. I didn't ruin the couch.
Perfect. Yeah, we washed
the
it. Yeah, we washed
cushions.
it this last week. It's great.
So good. So yeah, you just showed up and started supporting me, and then it just kept on picking on up. And at some point, I wanted the midwife there, and you were communicating with her, and she's like, "We'll check back in around 1 p.m."
Yeah, this is at
already
11.
Yeah.
Like 10:30, 11
Yeah.
or so. And you were like, maybe she can come over. And she was like, let's check back in a few hours. And you're like, what? I'm hoping to have this baby out of me in a few hours.
What?
And I look at him and was like, I don't think you could have your baby by 1 p.m. today. I didn't say that again. I know. I'm just like, let's just keep breathing. Let's just keep seeing where the train goes kind of thing.
Yeah. Because that's the hard thing. I think that was the hardest part for me, was that once you're on the train, you don't know when you're getting off the train. You don't know if it's going to be a 2-hour train. I have some friends that were on a 5-hour speed train, bullet train.
Yep.
Scary, but that's how long it was.
For their first?
Like from start of first contraction to end 5 hours. I know one of my friends just had that happen. So I was like mentally prepared for that.
Wow.
I have friends that labor for days.
Yep.
So because the pain is so bad, sorry, everyone, it is, because the pain is so bad and you're in this just hovering space of not knowing how long it could be. I feel like that was by far the hardest part for me in the beginning.
For
just
sure.
being like, is this also ever going to end? Almost like when you're on, I don't know if this ever happened to you on like a hallucinogen or something. It's happened to me where you're like, this is never going to end.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah,
this
you get
now.
like locked into time and you're like, it will never, ever end. Yeah.
That's what I felt like. Like, this is just me now.
Yeah.
I'm just suffering
Yes.
forever.
Into the portal.
It felt like that. Yeah. I didn't want to open my eyes.
Yeah, you definitely at one point kind of closed your eyes and then kind of never opened them again until baby girl was out.
Never opened
for the most
them
part.
again. Anytime I would open them, it was just too much stimulation. I was like, go to bed.
Look around.
Close the eyes.
Put the pillow on, put the blanket on, put the lights down. I mean, that makes sense to me.
It does, yeah.
Especially as labor progresses, you're like, I'm just going inward. There's so such a natural reaction.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's just, I wanted to reach for everything possible outside me to save me, but there was nothing to save me.
Right.
So it was just
Nick's hand and his stomach to bite.
my stomach a bit.
His stomach to bite.
Careful.
She didn't want any of our hands. We would all of the midwives and we'd give her our hand and she'd be like, give me Nick's hand. give me Nick's strong hand that I can just squeeze.
the man hand.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. All the things that I thought I would want,
Of course.
I didn't want.
That's just how it is.
It's how it is.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, it
Yeah.
feels so symbolic to me of life of like, oh, I'm just going to plan and prepare.
Yeah.
And I'm going to actually have no idea what the fuck happens or when it's going to happen or how long it's going to take or what it's going to look like.
Not at all. The deepest surrender possible. Yeah, I didn't want anyone to touch me at all. I
Yeah.
mean, light touch felt okay. And sometimes it felt okay. But then the deeper and deeper I got into the suffering, it felt terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I will say that I if I had known what I was getting myself into, just having a fully unmedicated natural childbirth at home with no pain management whatsoever, if I had known what the pain was, I would have maybe not done that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I say this now, but during it, while this was happening, I verbally said, I looked at my midwife, one of the only times my eyes opened, and I looked at her and I'm like, how the fuck did you do this multiple times? Because she's had multiple natural childbirths, and she just giggled like this. I fucking love Nicole. She's so cool. But she laughed and she's like, you'll understand when you meet your baby. And I did. And I also looked at Nick deep into his soul and I'm like, we are never doing this again.
Yeah.
We are adopting. And he also giggled and was like, okay, ask me now. I would do it again.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just so amazing to know the inner process that you were having than to witness the outer process. Because I feel like you were honestly more quiet than I was expecting. I mean, not that I even know what to expect, because obviously every mother expresses and labors and all that differently. But for the amount of pain, I can't say I know you were feeling because I've never gone through labor, but I can imagine what you're feeling when I've witnessed other women feeling. The way that you were just like you're just such a fucking warrior. You are so incredible. And the way that you handled it of just being like, I think I'm going to die.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to die. Covering your eyes.
That's a washcloth over my face.
That's a washcloth. Being like, my baby's trying to kill me.
These are all things that came out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I did, though. I felt like she was trying to kill me. Yeah. And I've only been at one birth before, and that is very common. And that's something that the mamas in my life did tell me. They said, once you feel like you're dying, that usually means that you're in transition. She's almost here. Your baby's almost there. But then also the one birth I was at, she was in transition, and then baby was in the canal for like a couple fucking hours. So I was like, there's no way. So yeah, I guess I'll get into some more detail there just so that people can envision what that was like. And also I have to mention that not only was I deathly ill with a cough, I fucking lost my voice. Yeah. So yes, Angelica, I did not speak much because I did not have a voice. And that was I took a birth class and she described something called the birth fairy, in which the birth fairy comes in and just sprinkles chaos in a way that is comical. It's like the universe giggling at this whole life thing, and it's just sprinkled into the birth process. You couldn't plan it if you wanted to. You couldn't prepare for it if you wanted to. It is so strange that it's actually borderline comical. And for me, that was me being so sick that I could not speak, and that every cough felt terrible. Even when you're in labor, having to pee and like bear down at all, horrible. Yeah. I had, like I said, diarrhea because I took so much magnesium to sleep the day before. Yeah. So I had to just let this shit leave my body literally. And any like bearing down sensation was terrible. So to even connect this in, because everyone wants to know why I bit Nick, let's be honest. I was sitting on the toilet trying to pee because you have to pee. You don't want your bladder to fill up. It could impact the way that baby's able to move through the canal. Like you want things to be empty. So I'm forcing myself to pee and it hurt so bad. And I was sitting on the toilet and I just like, knowing that I had to pee was one of the worst parts of labor for me. Like I think getting a catheter in the hospital is much better, honestly. And he was just sitting in front of me, supporting me because I couldn't even stand without support. And I just bit him in the tummy.
That's right.
Felt good. Maybe not for him. Felt good for me. Yeah, so maybe like for someone who's planning on going into labor, like having something to bite would actually be a good idea. Like I will have that next time.
Yes.
I will have something to chew on or something to squeeze like really fucking hard. Because that was also the thing. I thought I could literally break your precious hand. Yes. Your hands and Kayleen's hands are so cute and little.
Little dainty hands.
They're just so cute. And I really would have broke it, I think, with my superhuman strength. But worst pain of my life. And even like expressing that, like what would that have even done? Right. Like nothing.
It is really, I mean, for how powerful you are connected with your voice and how strong your voice is, to have that element in your birth of being like, what? Yeah. The voice that I usually have, and then even coughing, like, yeah, that totally puts you in a completely different state and situation than we would have thought.
So bad.
For sure.
It's like really all I think I said a couple times. I was like, it's so bad.
You did say ow. That was the thing that you said the most. Ow. Kind of like that. Just on repeat.
I literally just had a flash because once we got to the owl part, that's when she was in the birth canal.
Oh.
Because it's fucking insane. Just feeling a baby move in your body, like spiraling to get into the birth canal, and then feeling the different bones of your pelvis expanding, and then her head just like dropping down there. And once, because also we didn't do any vaginal cervical checks during my labor.
Which I loved.
Which we never actually planned on that happening. It just never happened with the midwife. And my midwife was amazing, and she's very much hands off in that whatever I wanted went. She, of course, would step in if something needed to happen, but she was very respectful as far as you and your baby are the one doing this. I'm here to just keep you safe, do what you need to do. So I never asked for a cervical check. She never felt like she needed to give me one. But I think mentally, that was also kind of a mind fuck because I didn't know how far along I was. I didn't know if I was dilating. I didn't know if I was 1 centimeter. I didn't know if I was 10. I didn't know if I was near pushing. I didn't know anything. But then once it got to a certain point and the contractions were closer and closer together, my body just pushed. When I went into the tub the second time, because I was going in and out of the tub, when I went into the tub the second time, I felt my body push, and it was the weirdest thing I have ever felt, because I was on all fours, which also felt terrible. Moving my body in any way felt excruciating, but it was this weird knowing, like, you have to move.
Yeah.
And I hated it. I hated the knowing. I would move. I was on all fours. And then I felt this, like, the push came from my center and it was down and up. So I felt like I was going to vomit and shit at the same time. But it was the deepest muscular contraction that I've ever felt. Oh my God. Which is interesting that people have to be trained to push or, be like, let me wait to push.
Yeah, that's a whole thing. I know. Yeah, I know. That's a whole, I'm kind of like, the body actually just does it for you. Kind of the same way with poop. If you just like relax.
Yeah.
Which is like obviously easier said than done when a fucking child's coming out of your vagina. But oh, just relax. But the body will literally birth your baby for you.
And yes, thank you for saying that. And it's like, I think some people in that process, the relax, they could be like, how the fuck can I relax? It's more so like allow. Just let your body do what it's doing.
Yeah.
Because your uterus will push out the baby.
Yeah.
How could you even, like in the movies where they're like, don't push yet. It's not time to push. How could you make someone not push?
Right.
If their body's pushing?
Yeah.
I don't even know how that could happen.
Right.
And thank the Lord, the angels, the universe, all that is good in the world, that it was the perfect birth. I mean, the pain is part of it, of course, but she did everything she was supposed to do. She wiggled the way she was supposed to wiggle, her head engaged. She descended down. She was in the perfect position. Like all these things that I worried about, you don't even have room to worry.
Yeah.
Because you're just letting your body do it, which is how I could imagine if someone was in a hospital or in a situation where they're continuously being monitored or being like, well, maybe X, Y, or Z, then your mind comes in and it sabotages the wisdom of the body.
Right.
Because the goal is to keep your mind out of it as much as possible, which is also where I think someone like a doula comes in, because you don't want to think about anything.
Yeah. No, I imagine it as like a woman, like a laboring woman gets to wade deeper and deeper and deeper into the water, and her doula and her partner and her birth team are like protecting and holding the space. I always imagine like a staff of like holding like the strongest energy in the room of being like, she is safe to go in. Do not fucking bother her. No. She doesn't need to answer your stupid fucking questions right now. No. Like, do you see what she's doing?
No.
So yes, I mean, and that was so highlighted in your birth as a home birth, that you had the space and the flexibility to move around and to not have these excess lights and excess people and excess prodding, so that your body could take the lead. And I know, I mean, the body will take the lead in the hospital too, but once we start interventions, then it's just become like slippery slope of like, well, I put this in, so now I need to monitor that with this and monitor that with, and like, yeah, we all know that whole story. But no, that was just so incredible to see. And it's so interesting you comment on how it was a mind fuck to not know how dilated you were.
Yeah.
Because it can be a total mind fuck for women to know how dilated they are. Because they're like, well, I was 4 2 hours ago and now I'm only 5, and then it so it's just such a crazy mind game, no matter whether you know or you don't know, because you're just constantly surrendering to be like, I'm just right. I love that you were like, less of the mind, because there's less of the mind. We don't need the mind here. We just need to like lose the mind and drop into the body.
And dropping into the body was horrible, but it's what had to happen.
Right.
And thank you for that reflection. And I think that something that you highlighted to, not in this conversation, but just in our conversations before, and something that my midwife, Nicole, kept saying. She would say, go into the tension or go into the sensation because that's where you need to release. Or
she would say, oh my God, her mantra. I talked about this at the yoga class afterwards. I was like, so our dearest Ashley had her baby. Woo. And my theme on that class was what Phoebe said. Phoebe was Nicole's assistant, your second midwife. And she said, let the pressure show you where to soften. Oh my God. Let the pressure show you where to soften. Are you fucking kidding? Like with anything in life. Because a lot of times with pressure, we want to be like, ooh. Like we want to resist it and push it away. But like, no. That is the exact point where you get to relax. Where we're like, how am I supposed to relax? You're like, well, follow the pain and then try and relax around that. What a practice. Oh my God.
The hardest practice I've ever done. Yeah. Because you don't want to feel. And as someone that is a professional dissociator, I wanted to leave my body the whole time. But the power of the womb, you have no choice. You have no choice but to be in it. And I will say that in between contractions was ecstatically beautiful. Like you are just... You're just in a blissful bath that you've never felt before from all the hormones that you're like, oh yeah, I can do this. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And then you feel it slowly rumbling in. And you're like, no, it's okay. And you're like, oh no.
At one point you said you time traveled or to a different memory where you were in someone's basement?
Yeah, that was fun. I was in someone's basement from high school. Eric Conklin. We're not even friends. You just had a baby. Congratulations, Eric. I said so funny.
That was so funny. That was the only time you said you left the room. You're like, I had a vision. I was in like a high school basement.
We're at a party. I got a massage.
Oh my God. Really? Yeah. I didn't know that part. That's hilarious.
In Eric Conklin's
You're like, where would
basement.
I like to be right now? Yeah. Where else? If I'm going to time travel and disassociate from my body, let me go to a basement.
I literally barely know him. I don't know.
Well, clearly you do because you came deep into the subconscious.
I don't fucking know Eric Conklin. I don't know. The only other visions that I had.
Who are you? Who are you, Eric Conklin?
Very nice man. Very nice man from my hometown. My baby daddy knows him too. I told him that, and he's like, "What the fuck? Have you ever been in Eric Conklin's basement?" I'm like, once for a party in high school.
Must have
been
been
very drunk. Times have changed. But the other, like, I would just have visions of me literally running outside into my yard naked while giving birth and trying to slam my head into the fence.
I didn't know about this one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I wanted to slam my head. I want to rip my skin off. I want to rip my hair out. Like, I wanted someone to like punch me. Like, I wanted anything to get the pain out of my body or to just distract me, but there was no doing that. Yeah, so just another visualization for you. I felt like a feral wild animal. Feral.
Oh my God.
Cat. Big kitty. Lion.
So, big kitty.
Big kitty energy.
Oh my God. Kitty. I'm going to change your name in my phone.
To Big Kitty?
Big Kitty. Yes.
Hell yeah, I love that.
That's perfect.
No, I love that so much. Can you all refer to me as Big Kitty? Big Kitty.
That's amazing.
BK, no, I honestly love that. I'm going to try not to let that distract me too much, but I really liked Big Kitty. All right, so here we are. We're back in the tub. I'm saying I'm dying. I'm saying Ellie is trying to kill me. That's my daughter's name. She's literally perfect. And at this point, the sun had gone down, and honestly, that felt really good for there to be no light. And
yeah, you kept blowing out all the candles.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't want the candles.
It's like, it stinks. Just kidding. I didn't say that. It was like the most beautiful scented candles. They're all mine, like organic, lovely scents. And I just couldn't deal with them.
You're like, not that one. I tried to find an unscented one. And then you were like, you spotted it and you were like, no.
Yeah. Please no. Please no. So I'm in the tub surrounded by my angels. And the sun going down felt really good. And I think that's also why I kept wanting to bird box myself. That's what me and my partner call it. I do this when I sleep too. I put pillows over my head or like a cloth over my face. I just like don't want to see the sun, I guess. So fully bird boxed, the sun went down. It just felt so much more peaceful. And I just always, when I envisioned myself birthing, it was always in the dark. I just felt that in the tub. And you can definitely feel the transition happen when the baby moves from the kind of deeper into the pelvis, like towards the outlet. And once I felt that, it did give me this sense of, okay, you can do this because it's almost done. Because that's the exit.
Yes.
She's not going back up.
Right.
She's going out. which means that, and every time someone would feel around or listen to her heart, I would always ask, is she moving in the right position? Because that's what I was so worried about. And they would always tell me, no, she's moving great. She's descending, she's dropping. And Nick, my partner, which I don't know, your eyes were open too, you could maybe see, he was like, it was the coolest thing seeing her like drop lower and lower and lower. So once I felt her down there, and again, I thought I was dying still at this point, horribly excruciating pain. I'm sorry that I keep saying that over and over again, but it's fucking true. And that's when I started using my voice a little bit, because I was scared that I energetically couldn't go on anymore because it was exhausting and I was sick and I hadn't eaten real food the whole day. I mean, you did a great job at trying to feed me. I didn't want to eat. Like I was having spoonfuls of honey and berries and just anything to keep me going. And I said, Elia, mommy's done. Mommy is done. It is time. It is time for you to come.
Yeah.
And I felt it happen. I felt her then be like, oh, okay, mama. Okay, mommy. I love you so much. I'll be there soon. And then I told her I would give her 3 pushes. All of this I verbalized out loud. I'm a huge fan of speaking to your body because apparently it works, especially when you're in the birth portal. So I, again, didn't have to try to push. It's not like I was like, 1, 2, 3, push her out. 1, 2, 3, push her out. I waited for my body to push 3 times. And on the 3rd one, she flew out.
Right into the water.
My little mermaid.
Little swimmer.
Little swimmer.
She's so beautiful and perfect.
I know.
It was just the most unbelievable moment ever. Oh my gosh, to see her crowning, and then when you touched her head.
Yeah.
At first you were like, nah.
I was scared.
Well, yeah. You're like, I don't want to touch her head. Yeah. Touching her head. And then you're like, oh my God, her head.
I don't know why I was scared, but that's what I said. Just like, you feel her head. I'm like, I'm scared.
Yeah.
Just freaky.
So many different feelings.
So many feelings.
When you have a furry little head coming out of your vagina. Like there is a part of that's like, well, what's going on?
Weird. It's a little weird.
Nature.
Yeah, nature.
The whole process.
It's fucking insane.
Yeah.
And she popped out and daddy caught her, and then her cord was wrapped around her neck, which is exquisitely common. So it's not like in the movies where people are like the cord, which obviously that can happen. There can be issues with the cord, but it's just very common for baby on her way out to like wiggle and then whoopsies, wrapped around the neck a little bit. So she was fine, just unlooped her. And then I immediately said, what?
Give me my baby.
That's what I said. I said, give me my baby.
Give me my baby with your arms out. Give me my baby. Give me my baby. Because it's that fucking light switch. You're like, the most excruciating pain in the whole world. I'm going to die. And then it's like, my baby's arrived.
Truly, though, that's what I would describe it as, a switch.
Yeah. That's what I witnessed with you, because you're in a whole fucking portal, and then all of a sudden it's like, don't, your baby's here, and then you're like, then all the hormones of the baby being here and the bonding, the skin to skin, and the
Surreal. Surreal.
Of course I'm crying. I don't know if you know I was crying, but I was like,
I didn't know
trying to like
anything.
keep it together. Of course, yeah, of course.
I was, I think, trying to cry, probably dehydrated. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, just feeling a little body on your chest.
Not just a little body. Your
My baby.
from that you grew inside of you.
I still can't believe it. Every day I look at her and I can't believe it that I grew her from a seed and that she just is perfect and she's so beautiful and she really is the most perfect baby and she is a dream come true. Yes. And I can't even believe that everything that I prayed for happened. Like it all did. I had my dream birth, and I almost feel guilty saying that because I know how many people, I love that this part of the story is what's making me cry, but I know how many people do visualize their birth to be a certain way and they don't get it. And I can just, even in having the most perfect birth and everything that I've dreamed of come true, it's still very traumatic. I mean, and it's this huge shift that you have to go through. So I just really empathize with all the mamas that envisioned that day to be something that it ended up just being something so different. But I'm really just in awe of this whole process because I don't think I've ever said this on the podcast before, but I've said it to you and Eric, my best friends. Eric's here, he's my producer. We know this, right? That I literally thought I was cursed growing up. Like I thought that, which is, it's like this victim mentality, mental state that I had to like unravel in my whole young adulthood to realize like, wow, bitch, you're actually incredibly blessed. This is just the way that you were taught to talk to yourself. It is just so fucking amazing to me that It was literally a dream come true. It was everything that I've ever wanted. It was perfect from start to finish. She's perfect. The pregnancy was amazing. She's healthy. She did everything that she needed to do. And I think that it's just really important for people to hear positive birth stories too, because it's possible.
Yeah. You have always been such an example of manifestation. I feel like even before her, but then like she feels like the peak expression of that manifestation of you're like, no, I know what I want. I'm going to do it here. I'm going to do it here. And there it is. And like to witness that has been amazing. And it has been incredible to see the alignment of the perfection in your vision and in your expression. Because like you said, there are so many women who have an idea of how it's going to go. And then it takes another route. And then there's a whole healing process around that sure many people who are listening are still even going through right now, and it comes in waves. And as you know too, the birth happens, then all of a sudden you're in a newborn, and then it's just like it keeps going.
It doesn't
so
stop.
It's like it's
the
not
train
like,
doesn't stop.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not like, okay, let me pause and process that now. You're like, oh, now I'm processing the fact that I'm a totally new person in this new life, in this new world with this new child. And I have just given so much gratitude to have been able to experience and witness that, and then to know in my heart that that's how you've gotten to experience like your deepest dreams coming true. It's just such a gift, such a fucking blessing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's also ironic because you've said this to me and someone said this to me yesterday. And it's this sentiment that I met a lot of people in my life when my life was in the full explosion, unraveling phase. I was broken. I thought that I would never have what I truly wanted. And that's not like something financial or tangible. It was a family. It was a baby. It was, like this deep love that I've just always wanted. And this, wow, here it comes. I was even like journaling about this. I always wondered if I would ever be happy in my life. Like growing up, I just was never happy. I don't know fully why. I mean, we could get into that in another episode, but trauma and blah, blah, blah. I just really never knew if I'd be happy. And becoming a doctor didn't make me, it made me happy, but it wasn't like it. So to have met so many people in the unraveling phase of my life where I was like, just at the bottom of the bucket, really just devastated. And then it really started happening when I would journal too, and just very clearly outlining to the universe, like, this is what I want. This is the timeline that I want it. I'm ready. I'm open. And then now to reflect that I got it all. Yeah. I got every single thing that I wrote down. I have literally a perfect baby, and I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. And the reflection that I've received from you and from my other friend yesterday, she's going through like a breakup and a whole life thing. And she's like, watching your life unravel and then fall back together inspired me to do this. And wow. And I remember you said something similar to me as well, just when you were going through a big transition. And I guess I'm sharing this because I'm astounded that it happened. Like, I still can't fucking believe it happened. And there's someone listening to this that's like, I just got divorced, or I have a big life change, or whatever it is. I'm never going to get there. You're going to get there. If you want it, you will definitely get there. It's in a path that you could have never imagined. And it's usually in a timeline that you would have never planned. But the universe gives you what you need. And that's kind of how I feel about birth too. Like when you were speaking about the moms and, them processing their trauma, I do think that there's like this sick way that the universe works, and that you don't get what you want, you get what you need. And my broken soul so badly needed that, just gift. But sometimes the universe needs us to learn a different lesson. And sometimes that comes through in this ridiculous portal that is birth. And that was just a million things that we could unravel, but they all had to pour out. So there we are.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. The way that I see you light up when I come and visit you, and just to see you as a mother, like inspires me to be like, what can I find in my life that I would love as much as Ashley loves being a mom? I literally am like, like it just pours out of you. Like, such a just to hear you talk about that, to be like, you really set that up for yourself. You being like, you know what? I'm going to fucking write these things down. This is what I want. It was your clarity. It's your clarity that allowed, I think that's a big part of it, of like, you were so clear and you held the space for it to happen, and now it's happening. And now you're like
wow.
in bliss land every day with your baby girl. And I look at you every single time I visit you. I'm like, oh my God, look at how happy she is. This is like, it's just the perfection multiplies. It's just, it's so fucking cool to see.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I so deeply appreciate that.
Yeah.
Just also giggling in my head because when we first started this podcast, I got a new computer and I asked Eric what I should make the password, because I would try to tell my best friends that were men, just being like, all right, so if I don't have a baby by the time that I'm 35, are you down? Are you down to just like make one and we could just co-parent forever? Because we love each other anyway. Like, we're going to be best friends forever. Like, why not just have a baby? So I would literally try to get Eric to have a baby with me. I don't know if you knew this.
Eric of all people.
Eric, my
the
best
man
friend.
who doesn't want children.
The man that does not want a child. I'm like, I will do it all. Just like help me with like the
I just need that one part.
Like, I don't want to have sex. Come in a little cup. We'll turkey baste it in there.
Boom.
We'll make a baby.
Yeah. He's like, but I don't want to be a dad.
He doesn't want to be a dad, which is fine. He got lucky because I met Nick.
I didn't force him.
I also said this to my gay best friend. I'm like, Maddie, let's make a baby. Like, why the fuck not? Anyway, we didn't have to go that route. But when I got the computer, I asked Eric what I should make the password. He's like, put a baby in me, 2023. I'll change my password. None of you are getting my computer. But it's like from every angle, we were like calling it in. And now every time I type it in on my computer, I'm like, this is hilarious.
Oh my gosh. Your password.
Yes.
Put a baby in me.
Yes.
That's really fucking clear. That's like clear directions.
It's very clear.
Put a baby inside of me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
2023 would be great. But if it has to be 25, that's fine too.
It was 2024 when the impregnation.
Yes, right.
But still, it's like, we're very clear 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, now I have like the love of my life and stuff. So it made it a little easier than like just forcing someone that doesn't want to have a baby to have a baby. A little bit easier. But
yeah.
The whole like partnership thing is really nice.
The whole cushion.
Having a child. Yeah.
Handhold.
Really nice. Yeah. But wow. Yeah. Thank you for that. The clarity. Yes.
So powerful.
I also want to say, though, going into birth, which I did express on the podcast, I think it's really important that you are open to all the possibilities and that you're energetically okay with every single one of them happening. Because if not, it does create this almost just like energetic confusion in which the universe is like, wait, but is there something there that they need to learn if they're this opposed to this? Or I don't even know. But I felt like going in, I told myself, whatever has to happen, I'm okay with. Truly, I was in that tub and I was in so much pain. And I was like, should I go to the hospital and get pain meds? Like, that's fine. I don't want anyone listening to this to think that I'm shaming them for any choice that they made on their birth journey. But also, if it was something that is almost like my worst nightmare came true, maybe sit with that, because the universe works in very interesting ways in regards to what we're putting out there, almost like an antenna. And I think that if you have a worst fear, sometimes the universe does give you your worst fear so that you learn like, hey, I survived that. It wasn't that bad. I gained X, Y, or Z lessons and knowledge from that. I'm grateful ultimately. So for me going into it, I was like, might be going to the hospital later today. We'll see.
Right.
Who knows? Just get this baby out of me safe.
The ultimate practice of non-attachment to the outcome.
Yeah, the only attachment to the outcome is a healthy baby.
Right.
That's the only outcome
yes.
that matters.
Yeah. I also feel like the brain will like, even if you say like, I don't want or I do want in front of something, the brain is just like your fucking personal computer. And it like, no, all I heard was spaghetti. You want spaghetti? You don't want spaghetti. I don't fucking care if you do or you don't want spaghetti. You're going to get it. So it's like really tuning into that too. Of what are we, I mean, obviously that applies to everything.
Yeah.
And I know it's not as black and white as that, but I do think about it when I'm like ruminating over something where I don't want it to happen that way.
Yeah.
Because there's that quote, like worrying is worshiping the problem.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, if I just hyper fixate on how I don't want it to go, am I actually just giving all my energy to those fears rather than, I mean, I think that's a practice around, if you're going to read birth stories, trying to read, especially the closer you get to labor, reading positive ones to like actually imprint the possibility. I mean, the infinite pathways it's going to go, but being able to go into it and being like, all right, let's see. I feel like that, such a powerful way to go into something that's so unknown. Like, I really don't know how this is going to go. And yes, I have my preferences, but like plan A, plan B, plan C. But the plan that holds all that is to like keep surrendering and keep calling in my healthy baby. It's basically like the two.
My little sweet potato.
You sweet potato.
Little sweet potato.
What do you say to her? Like, are you part potato?
I ask her if she knows what a potato is.
I love
I go,
this
are
so
you a
much.
potato?
You ask her if she's a potato.
And I go, do you know what a potato is? And she just learned how to laugh and smile. So she goes,
It's
and I
ridiculous.
go, you don't know? You don't know what a potato is?
I'm pretty sure that's the last thing you were saying to her when I walked in last time. Like when I walked in to say hi and you were in the middle of potato conversation with her.
It's just so weird because she doesn't know what a potato is. She doesn't know what anything is.
She might.
She might.
She might know what a potato is.
She might. I mean, I ask her all the time.
Someday she's going to be making you potatoes.
Yes, she is. I'm going to feed him little mashed potatoes.
Love it.
Little, I envision like a purple potato.
Because purple's her favorite color, even though she hasn't told you she has.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's amazing. Wow. What did we leave out about this birth process or journey that I think would be helpful for us to share?
Well, one of your viewers, Stavi, had a question.
Stavi!
He had a question.
You did.
And it was about what can your partner do to prepare to feel better. And then he also asked how I communicated with your partner. Do you want to answer?
Sure.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. So the partner, I think that every person going into labor is going to need something different. So dropping into that before so that the partner can have some type of idea as to what they need to do. However, with that being said, you don't know what you need until you're in it. So that could completely change. So I will say kind of the one underlying truth that the partner needs to do is just to be stable and calm. Because I said to Nick, this boogers run out of my nose from my tears. I said to Nick, well, while I was in labor, I said to him, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. And it was the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
And he said to me, this is the hardest thing I've ever done too. And I got mad at him. And I was like, but what he said, he's like, watching you in this much pain is the hardest thing I've ever done. He like corrected himself. And then I was like, you're a sweet baby angel. So I think having a partner, if they lose themselves when they see their significant other in pain, or no one knows what's going on, or if they could just get, if the fear could take over and enter that space, no fear can be in there. If you're worried, leave the room, ask whoever you need to ask. If you're in the hospital, talk to the doctor, the nurse, the staff, step out, talk to the midwife, go drink a cup of coffee, take a sip of whatever you need to calm yourself down, take a breath, and then come back in so that you could be that grounded, sacred, masculine, I got you, I'm protecting my person and my baby.
Yes.
That's it. Like in whatever form that comes in, that's all you need your partner to be. You don't need them to be like, I'm tired, or like whatever it is. Or I'm sorry, if like your man is squeamish, they should maybe not be there.
Right.
Because you can't hold space for anyone when you're in that
Absolutely
portal.
not. Oh my God.
At all.
Please don't. Please
No.
don't even try. Even if you tried, at some point, it just becomes impossible.
It's impossible.
It's like, it's shut down. The service store shut down. I am not here for you.
No.
Thanks. I'm here to birth my baby. Yeah, 100%.
And like how offended I would be if they even like, and there are people that is the case. Like I have friends that are like, yeah, my partner was so tired that he just like went into another room and slept, or
I've heard that too.
or he just threw up because he was squeamish. And like these things are okay, but get the fuck away from the birthing woman.
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. No, Nick did such a phenomenal job of just holding the space, staying super grounded, unwavering. He was just there.
He was there.
And it didn't really even seem like he was like freaking out on the side and then like coming back to composure. He was just like, here we are. Let's go.
Yeah.
I appreciated that so much.
He was actually perfect.
He was.
He was perfect. And even though I love my team and everyone that was there, I'm like, I could have probably just did it if it was just Nick and I, just because of the way that he showed up for me.
Yeah.
But again, I did not do it alone, and I would not recommend it.
Right.
Not recommended. Okay.
Yeah, maybe he would have responded differently if he hadn't had 4 women around him.
True.
The way that he showed up for you, he probably found a lot of comfort in that, being like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
I would think, but
Yeah.
who knows? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just think in terms of preparing the partner or with the doula or with just communication. I feel like communication is so, to know that we can trust each other, to be like, you can ask me for what you need. I can trust you to answer that. And I think that was such an interwoven, ingrained part of our relationship already, of who you are, because you're already very direct with people, of being like, this is what I need. This is how I need it. And this is when I need it, and it's not a personal thing. I think when I meet with new families to potentially be of service to them, one of the biggest things is I'm like, okay, partner, like, don't take it personally if she's screaming or if she's throwing things across the room, if she's talking to you bluntly, if she doesn't say please and thank you, it's not about you.
No.
And it's not about, like, don't worry about it. Just show up as like neutral of this isn't about you. Not neutral, but in the sense of like, it's not about you.
Yeah.
How do I say that again? It's not about you. Yeah. But it is. That's why the doula is also there to help support Nick, go get him another coffee, that whole thing.
He's parched boy for coffee.
That was great. Yeah, he did need coffee.
He loves coffee. He loves the sugary coffees. Thank you for delivering that to my birth man.
Of course.
I was also just giggling because, you're going to be really blunt and you don't want to even feel guilty about anything that comes out of your mouth. So anyone that would feel guilty in that situation, maybe they're not the best fit. Even my best friend Kayleen, who was there with me, she made me that little protein drink, and the first sip I took, what did I say?
That's disgusting.
I actually said that's fucking disgusting.
Oh, you did. Yeah. You're right. I forgot the thing. It's fucking disgusting. Because she
just said
something.
Okay, and then she left, and that was
right.
it. And not me being like, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to be an inconvenience to you. However, do you think that you could just make me something different, because this just doesn't taste that good? No. Instead I said, that is fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
That translated to her, and something else was over.
Yes, it's great. That's honestly one of my favorite parts. That's like if I'm only going to say one thing to pregnant women, I'm always like, this is your fucking time. Yeah. Like, do not, we're so easily going to hosting and taking care of everyone else. And I'm like, this is not the moment to take care of other people.
No.
So I love that you were like, fucking gross.
Yeah.
Ew. Get it away.
Literally get it away from me.
Give me something else.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Some berries. Hard-boiled egg at one point.
That was early though. I wouldn't have been.
That was very early.
I wouldn't have been able to eat that egg later
on. And then I never knew if you ate the meat stick or if your dog did.
I had one bite of the meat stick, and then Kira finished it off. My dog. Kira was there.
Kira was there. She came in right during the very, very end. I mean, she was obviously there the whole time. But then she walked into the bathroom when baby was right there.
Yeah.
And Casey was there. Casey's ashes.
Casey was there. That was one of the only things I also said during the birth. I looked at Nick and I said, bring me Casey.
I know.
He's like, do you want her in the tub? It's a vat of ashes. I'm like, no, I don't want the ashes in the tub.
My God. He offered to put the ashes in the tub.
I'm like, I don't want her in the tub. Thank you so much, my honey boo-boo. But no, I don't want her in the tub. But we did bury her with my placenta.
You did.
Which is really cute.
Planted by your brother. Very sweet.
Very sweet.
Yeah.
Very sweet.
That was a really sweet moment. I remember you crying. You were petting Kira and you were looking at Casey's ashes and you just started crying. And I just knew.
You knew.
How much you were missing Casey in that moment. And Casey was there. Casey's there.
I know. I miss her every second.
I know.
Another good moment for a cry, but it was so good. Wow. My mind wants to go into like all the things that have happened since the baby, but they will come on this podcast. Don't you worry. They're going to come. So really, I just wanted to dive into the birth portal. And like, how do I say this without sounding really aggressive? But those that listen to this podcast, I think know. I am a huge fan of everything natural, obviously. I deeply believe in the wisdom of the body. I didn't have to think to do any of this. No, not one part of this did I have to think. I didn't have to think about growing my baby. I didn't have to think about getting pregnant. I didn't have to think about staying pregnant. I didn't have to think about birthing her. Like, getting my head out of it was the most important thing that I could do to let this whole beautiful thing and process unravel. So if someone could not stay out of their head while giving birth, you need to evaluate where you would feel the best doing that. Because now that I've done this whole natural birth thing, how do I say this? I don't think everyone could do it. I honestly don't. I barely could do it. I didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Once I was in it and I thought, remember I was reading a book on like orgasmic births? Fuck that author. Like, I'm going to sue her. Just kidding. I didn't say sue her. I'm going to sue her because it's really hard. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. Women can do hard things. Every person on this planet can do hard things. However, I think that if someone wants to do a unmedicated natural birth, please be mindful that you are near a hospital because you might want to go. You might need to go. I do very much admire free births in the middle of the jungle. I think that's really fucking cool. However, that was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And you need support in different ways. And for me, I was able to make it through barely, literally barely. So if you're someone that's questioning your body's ability or questioning your safety or questioning X, Y, or Z, or like, yeah, I'm going to try. And then if I can't do it, just like maybe consider going to the hospital. Honestly, you could have a beautiful birth anywhere, but I don't know if I felt that strongly about it until I did a natural childbirth. That I think part of the reason why it can get dangerous is if you do let your head take over, because then your body is not going to do what it's meant to do. But if you let your head get out of the way, your body will birth your baby. It's going to be beautiful and perfect. But if for whatever reason, someone feels like they are drowning and can't get up, please go to the hospital. Because I'm sure those pain meds are fucking amazing. I honestly don't know next round what I'll do. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
amazing.
I just needed to just emphasize that. I don't know.
Like you not almost, but your placenta took 2 hours.
Yeah, my placenta took 2 hours.
And there was a moment where it was like, okay, do we have to go to the hospital now? And you were like, hell no, I didn't just burn my baby at home to go to the hospital now for my placenta. Yeah. Which makes sense.
It does. Yeah. I'm like, if I couldn't get knocked out and like, if I went to the hospital, I wouldn't have just wanted like a little bit of drugs. I would have wanted all the drugs, like more drugs than I've ever taken in my life, which I barely have taken drugs. My liver doesn't metabolize them well. But anyway, I would have wanted more than is reasonable because that's the level of pain you're in. I would have been like, knock me out, like put me under, let me know when the baby's out. So if I couldn't have that be done, there was no way I was going under general anesthesia to get my placenta out. So that was another moment where because I couldn't drop in with my body when I had this baby that I had just birthed on me. So I'm going to bring it to the side. And I closed my eyes and I said, and by move the baby to the side, she was with her father doing skin to skin.
Yes.
And I closed my eyes and I spoke to my uterus. I said, uterus, thank you. Placenta, thank you. We are done. You can leave now. You can leave now. And then she birthed. So it was this, I don't know, powerful. This weird just.
And you were looking at yourself in your full length bedroom mirror for that one.
Yeah.
And it was like over 2 hours of trying to get the placenta out.
It's a really long time.
So many different like creative techniques, including clamping your cord.
Yeah.
And then putting a piece of your umbilical cord in your mouth. I loved this. I loved this so much. As soon as you put it in your cheek, you had a huge contraction. So we thought that was maybe working, but it didn't.
It didn't.
But I just thought it was so fucking powerful that you were looking at yourself in the mirror being like, it's fucking go time, okay? I just talked to you, uterus. I just talked to you, placenta. And I'm going to look at you, Ashley, and we're going to boom. Pew. There it was.
Plop. Like a jellyfish.
Amazing.
So cool.
And then you were just glowing. And then you were just like, relief and ecstasy.
And then I ate a Reuben.
And you ate a Reuben. Then I ate a Reuben. It's true. Your best friend knew exactly what kind of post-birth meal to bring you.
It was so good. It was the best Reuben of my life.
Yeah.
So good.
Then I ate a Reuben.
Classic birth.
It's so good.
Wow.
It's so good.
I now understand why moms just want to like hang out with people that talk about birth and babies, because I want to just keep talking about this, but I feel like we covered a lot of the great details of the day. And obviously on this podcast, I'm going to keep talking about what it's like to be a mom and newborn stuff and postpartum stuff. But that was by far the best day of my life, even though it was the hardest day of my life. That's not what was going to come out of my mouth, but it was the best day of my life, meeting my daughter, seeing what my body could do, feeling so loved and supported by my family and my friends and my community and the people that I chose to celebrate that experience with. And I've just never been more in love with my body. I'm just so proud of her and for all that she can do. And I'm just honored that you were there with me, sis. I really am.
So honored to have been there. It's such a joy. Beyond words. Yeah.
So you all need a doula. Like, you just need one. Even if you're not pregnant, you probably need a doula. Like a life doula. Just kidding.
Probably.
You probably need a doula. So
just call her. It's not medical, but it is spiritual.
Yeah. Can we just like talk?
Just need to like figure this out.
Yeah, support me. Yeah. So I hope that everyone learned what that is. I hope that you enjoyed this conversation all about my birth and all the little silly things that came along the way, the beautiful journey that is life. And before we fully tune off, I always like to just hand the mic over to you one more time to see if there's anything that you would like to share that's on your heart, on your mind, anything at all related to birth or life, or just being like, Mom, I love you. Thanks for birthing me. I don't know. Anything at all that you want to share, my sweet angel?
I think parents are superheroes. I tell that to strangers walking across the street, or like if I see a mom with their dogs and their kids, and even grocery store, anywhere, I just see, I'm like, just to acknowledge, I fucking see you. And holy shit, like parents are literally superheroes, especially mothers. Fathers, you're a superhero. Mothers, you're a superhero. You know, like what? I just can't even wrap my mind around the strength and courage it takes to become a mother and to then have your heart birthed in outside of your body. Now you have the most precious angel. It blows me away. You're a superhero, and we're also lucky that you and the rest of the badass mamas are here. Thank you.
Thank you for saying that. It does feel like that. It feels like my heart is outside of my body.
Yeah.
Part of my heart, which is really scary, but also really cool.
Right.
Yeah.
So cool.
You're the best.
You are the best. I love you so much.
I love you so much. Helly. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being a part of the fam, for being a part of my journey, for literally watching me grow in front of you on camera, which for half the episode you didn't know I was pregnant. And then for also learning about my little baby. The best day ever. I love you all so much. I deeply adore you, and we'll see you soon. Maybe Elia will come join one of these days. Toodaloo.